Hello and welcome. Um, it has been a while, hasn't it, since I've done one of these podcasts. This is a rough start, a very, very rough start. Um, oh, where is the audio? Looks like it's cut off. Completely cut off. Hold up. Wow, what a mess, eh? Do I have to restart the whole thing? I think it's crashed on me, this stuff. I wanted to have the audio of the rain, but I tabbed out and it stopped working. Nice. Nice. Wow. What a mess, eh? Okay, so I'm just gonna try to keep this casual as usual. But let me just restart this thing. Let me bring that up. Let me just restart this app. Restart it again. Is it coming up? Wow, what a what a gigantic mess. I think it's got problems with there we go. Trying to do a whatchamacallit, full screen. Oh, what the heck? The audio's missing now. No, it's my fault. It's missing on my end. It's my fault. It really is. I'm so daft. It's working for you guys. And I hadn't realized that. Okay. So what are we talking about here today? It's been a while. It has to be June 2021 since I did the last podcast. Right? And that's quite a bit of time. I might pause the music. I don't know. I'm gonna get in trouble for the music itself because it's not. I don't think it's. I think it's copyright. Yeah, it's gotta be. I haven't checked, but I think it is. Right. Yeah, it's been a while since we last spoke. I hope you're all doing well. You're taking care of yourself, looking after yourselves. Yeah, welcome to this podcast in 2022. I don't know what specific. I've got some rough idea what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to drag it out a little bit. So first thing, I guess, is why does it take so long for me to do one of these? I don't really have a good answer. I think it comes down to energy. I don't even know of a better way of saying it, but the energy is more like, having that. Saying positivity is not even the right way of describing it. It's having that. I think another way is enthusiasm. Again, probably not quite right. Or maybe motivation. I don't want to bring a certain type of bad vibes. Not bad vibes, like feeling not very upbeat. See, I just can't quite find the right words for it. I don't even know what type of vibe I'm trying to go for in my streams or my podcasts. There's like the energetic style, which is not really me. And then there's the, I don't know, the morning breakfast. Also somewhat of a energy infused style of podcast, which is not quite me. I'm sort of aiming a little bit for the the late night drive, but I don't have that persona for the late night long drive type of chat. So maybe it's just late afternoon, I guess. Um, yeah, basically, I just don't have that. I don't know, that right energy. I can't think of the right word. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I've been putting it off doing one of these. Yeah. By the way, you're gonna have to excuse me for me doing the umming and erring. There might be some background noises. Yeah, there we go. Another Should we go with the sound of the wind, or this does sound like there's some sort of static in the background, doesn't it? Hopefully not. It does sound like there's a bit of a static noise. We can cut that off. It's not really an issue. Yes. What else? Yeah, I might talk about a few things. That's just related to to games I play or don't want to play. I mean, don't want to play, might play stuff. It's just generally around that area. It's just gaming in general and maybe some popular culture stuff. Uh, and Yeah, that's roughly it. That's the rough plan behind that. You think that after all this time, I have a more forward way and more planned way of doing these things, but I really don't. For me, I have to just jump in with some rough idea of what I have and just yammer on. Oh yeah, the other thing I want to mention is, yeah, a lot of stuff I say is just my own personal opinion. Uh, it's not even properly researched a lot of the time. It's just, yeah, just my own thoughts, just my own experiences. That's all. That's all there is to it. So, games that I've played. So I finished. Where were we the last time I talked? I finished. That's right. I finished Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I cannot believe the ending that we got. All right, there's gonna be spoilers as well for those that have not finished uh, the games I'm gonna be talking about. And also, it's been a while, so my memory's sketchy. That's my fault for not talking about it straight away after I'd finished the game. I just cannot believe Bassam has uh, taken over. He's gone into the virtual world. That's what I'm gonna call it anyway. And he's looking through everything that Evil has experienced. Oh, the other thing is, I don't know if I've mentioned it before. I like Evil's character. And recently I'd gone back to it to try to play some things, like try to hunt down the order of the ancients. I think they're called. I'm not done yet as of this time. I believe I've hunted down all the what they call them. Uh, what are they called? They're not. Let me just look it up. I don't want to just say things. I've done it so many times already, and I still don't remember. Let me just have a quick look. Cultus. Oh no, they're not. Cultus is the one from Odyssey. Let's see. Zealots. That's it. So they're the lesser ones. And I think, yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Like I'm conflicted having, like, Bassam came across because we had to fight against Bassam as evil. Um and that was during that time period, And the character that was experiencing what evil was uh, experiencing, going through, she entered. Um, it was so convoluted to me. Not quite convoluted. I don't even know how to put it into words properly. She entered the computer, the oh, what are they called again? See, I have to look all this up. I should have looked this up before. This is terrible. It is terrible. Yeah, I shouldn't really be pausing right there, but as I was saying, I can't even find the name right now. But yeah, so she lost her physical body and she's transported into like this ancient text world, some sort of another virtual world. And Basim is resurrected and he's like existing in modern day and he gets to experience what evil's experiencing. So I'm conflicted about that because he uses the machine and he's seeing the world through evil's eyes, evil's eyes. I'm just, yeah, conflicted. The way that it's portrayed, he's been portrayed, is he's not really quote unquote the good guy. Something's happened to him. It was alluded, I think, a family member was harmed. I think really I should really do some proper research into this before I start talking about it. But yeah, he's just portrayed as someone who is supposedly like a bad guy. I don't know. It's hard to tell. And then there's rumor that they'll be making a game with him as the main character. Again, like I'm conflicted about that. Would I be playing? It's supposed to be a smaller game with more focus on the stealth elements, so maybe something closer to the old Assassin's Creed. Look, personally, I like the newer stuff, the last three or four. From Assassin's Creed Syndicate onward, I like them. Um, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about going back to something more stealthy because I like the more action-oriented, exploration-based game. But yeah, I don't know. It's just after I'd finished the game, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to go back, knowing that he's experiencing this these situations where you're using evil, but you're no longer that the other character. Let me just check something. That's right, Isu. So Isu is like the ancient tech. Let me just look. So we know that Cassandra's been around. She lived to modern day, but I think because since she gave up her staff, Lila, that's it. She was the main character for the last three games, and then she got transported into the Isu like computer or something in the simulation. That's it. But her physical body is gone. So she's like in another, yeah, another simulation. That's my understanding. And I could be completely wrong. So, yeah. I don't know. I'll have to see. Like, I don't really have a lot of thought about that. It's other than feeling conflicted. I don't know. I would need a bit more uh, of background for Basim. As I said, I like Evo's character, and recently that I played as her, I appreciate her a, a lot more now as well. Not that I didn't before, but like I've my appreciation has increased for her because she has to do all sorts of stuff. Like right, she has to be the politician, the warrior, the person, the diplomat to form the relationship with the other uh, kingdoms and stuff like that, to try to establish that sort of relationship between all the groups and the fight for some sort of common cause. But at the same time, there's a bit of a conflict in the gameplay where you go around raiding places and taking their resources. Doesn't that go against what they're trying to do? So I don't quite, maybe they explained it and I didn't pick it up, because when I play these games I also tend to zone out. And the game was quite big. It was like under 100 hours perhaps. I'm just mainly doing the main quest and skipping a lot of the side stuff. I did go around trying to find the weapons, the gear, and doing maybe some just a little bit, a few side. I did do a few side stuff in order to level up at some point, because I was under level for the main quest. So I did some side quest things. And yeah, eventually, it was under 100 hours to finish it. It did feel like it was dragging on, but I've had this idea that you've got 3 stages when you're playing a game. Oh, by the way, I sidetrack a lot. When I'm playing a game, there's 3 stages. There's the thought of playing the game, which is expectations, right? What are my expectations before I play a game? Just the general idea, general thought. And then there's the actual experience itself of playing the game, which has like a range and a bit of a spectrum within there. And as I'm playing, I'm like going, okay, this part is getting too long. But they sort of get not wash away, but sort of get put aside, that thought, as I progress through the story, the narrative, the interaction with the characters, which is what I feel. It can get pretty dry at some point, and I can't tell you exactly what happened, what the characters are, what we did, but I did like the experience of going through that interaction. And then there's the feeling of what it's like after playing the game, right? In my mind, I really cannot speak for anyone else, but in my mind, after playing such a lengthy game, my mind has a way of just compressing the experience and just almost, I don't know, unconsciously, subconsciously or unconsciously, cherry picking the experiences that made an impression on me, and then giving me that emotional, I suppose, hit. That's probably not the right word either. And me having a sort of a nostalgia about it and thinking, oh, that was rather nice. I like that. That was nice. But it's all 3 different stages is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so there's the before you play the game, then there's during the game itself, and then there's the feeling after the game playing it. And giving myself a bit of time, breathing room before going back, helped me as well in some ways to absorb that entire experiences. Oh, by the way, I do get very repetitive. What I do want to say is like as I say, I enjoy Evo, and then I like to compare her just very briefly and roughly with Cassandra. Before I do that though, I did go all the way back to Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I'd finished that game, and I decided to take on the DLC, which is Dreadful Crimes. I'd wanted to go back and play that before to do the investigation type of thing. I like what they've done uh, in terms of the gameplay, even though I was extremely rubbish at it. I was so bad. I had to look up walkthroughs in the middle of my playthrough a few times because I was quite confused as what I was supposed to be doing. But what they have in there in terms of mechanics, it's not a Sherlock Holmes type of game. There's like I didn't go into that expecting a great amount of depth in terms of the investigations. I'm fine with that. It's quite light in that regards and trying to figure things out. And then like there's things some of the cases you worked on is like murder cases or missing things. Most of the time I think it's a murder case, and then at the end it all comes together, which is pretty cool. And there's that twist with one of the characters working with you is it's major spoiler for Syndicate DLC Dreadful Crimes is Conan O'Doyle, I believe. The creator of Sherlock Holmes, which is very cool. I like that. I don't know how whether or not the timeline actually comes together that way, but hey, it worked for me, and it was a treat to revisit London during in that universe again. It's been so long since I've gone back. I think that's like one of the first Assassin's Creed game that I'd streamed as well. So it was nice to go back to that, ride around the train. That's one of the things I really appreciate about that game. The train that you have. The only other Ubisoft game that you could ride and train was Watch Dogs 1, which was pretty cool as well. It's like one of the mechanics that I missed in a lot of the other games. You get to ride, like nowadays people just go, okay, let's just use fast travel. I mean, fast travel is feasible in any of those games, if I'm not mistaken. But having the ability to just ride in the train and just feel like you're part of the world is really nice. Having that option, and that's the thing I like. Just there's nothing more to it. It's just riding a train, right? And I like that nowadays because, and this is another thing I like to touch upon is, game length and what do we do in that game time? Because for me, there is a limited amount of time to play games, and most of the time I'm just either busy or just way too exhausted, tired, or just not in the mood. So I have limited amount of time to play game and just try to be immersed into that experience, and that's why I feel fast travel in big games is necessary. But at the same time, having that option, this is where I come back to the train thing, to let you be able to sit in there in a train and let it take you around the city or whatever. It feels nice. It feels like, as I say, it's an immersion thing for me. It's not a realism thing, and I want to be able to talk about that next time or later on. We'll see. It's more about feeling to be part of the game world, even though it's for a short moment. To see the game world moves by as you're riding through in a train. Anyway, it's a really roundabout way of talking about riding a train in a game. So I was rubbish in the DLC, but it was nice to go back into that game to be Evie Frye again, which is cool. But yeah, finished that, and then I moved on to Origins, and I did the DLC for that one. I think it is called. Let me just check that. Something is not Hidden Ones. Oh, I did do the Hidden Ones. I think it was fairly short, which is good. Because I needed extra XPs to level up to do the DLC that I really wanted to do, play, Curse of the Pharaohs. So that's got the more mystical aspect of it, and you get to travel to the world of the dead, I believe. That was really cool. I really like that one. There's some really cool visuals as well. Let me try to find any screenshot for that and see if I can put it up. Because I really like that. I see Origins is Assassin's Creed Origins was something that I didn't take a lot of photos. I only started doing that once I got into Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But yeah, I only took a handful, maybe 5. I started to take a little bit more when I played the Curse of the Pharaohs. Let's see if I can load up some photos here. I'll do a display capture. Oops, that's not what I want. Definitely not what I want. Did I capture something I shouldn't be capturing? No, just a bunch of stuff that really shouldn't be a problem. Sorry about that. Hang on. Let me just bring this back up. How unprofessional of me. How come it's not capturing the right monitor? Give me a moment here. Yeah, it's capturing the incorrect monitor. There we go. Wow, that was awful, wasn't it? Okay, so these are the earlier ones that I take. Okay, so this is where we go to the World of the Dead, and it's got some really funky style of like environments, and these sort of mystical creatures as well, which looks a bit creepy, and I kind of like. And there's some of this. It is, it's a visual treat. It really is a visual treat. I think, yeah, these are the old ones. Yeah, I really liked it, and the bosses in this one, I feel is quite difficult for me. I wasn't expecting them to be this tough. I mean, for most people, it's no problem. And I was playing lower difficulty. I wasn't expecting it to be as tough as they were. It took a few times before I actually got through, completed fighting against them. But yeah, it's an interesting experience, I gotta say. I liked it for what it is. It was a short. It wasn't too long. It was just. I think it was just about right. There was a few things to do, but otherwise, it was not bad. Yeah, there's a few things like this. Like you see the ships going through the reeds, which is pretty cool. And then, after that, after finishing off, it was good to be back again. I like Bayek. He was, there was something about him that I found very endearing. He was someone who lost his son, but he was trying to still be the better person, the protector of the land, and he still could do that. And he was just, doing his best. And I like the way that the actor portrayed Bayek. It's like there's a soft side to him, and he's just got I feel anyway, he's got a good heart. But yeah, that was a good experience. So after this, I'd gone back to is this thing working again? There we go. So after that, I'd gone back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it was very nice to revisit Cassandra again. At first I thought that there was going to be a quest where she interacted with Evil directly, but that's not the case. It was a completely different quest line. It was a different quest line that is a conclusion to Cassandra's storyline, and it was sad for me to see her go, to have that conclusion, right? So the story has her in a holiday, and then she goes on her last adventure. We all know, like, she doesn't die in that adventure, because we know that she survives and she's immortal, right? At least to the modern day. But yeah, it was sad though. Like, all her friends will be gone, and there's a cutscene of her traveling to ancient Egypt as well, and putting one of the other characters, like, is writing into one of the archives, perhaps like a library. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was Alexandra's library. I could be wrong. She put like a scroll there, so the writing would continue on. The writing of the author will continue on in some ways, which is interesting. And then I think that was it. I think she then goes on to another place. And yeah, it was good to see her and her friends together doing the adventure for the last time. There's not much to say about it. It was, again, fairly short and sweet adventure. Then I reinstalled Assassin's Creed Valhalla and did the quest that was actually Evil meeting Cassandra. And it was really great seeing them interacting again, like meeting each other. Like, two of my favorite characters trying to get along. They don't seem to get, in order to create that sort of conflict and drama, they don't get along initially, but they have certain similarities. They fight with each other in the beginning, not being sure who's who. So it was really cool to see them. Although I gotta say, Cassandra looked a bit different in Valhalla. I'm not sure why. She looks a bit, maybe because it's created by different teams or something like that. But yeah, we both sort of went on an adventure briefly. I got to team up with her, but I think most of the time it's just Evil on her own. And then finally at the end, we got to work together again. And there was like a touching moment where Cassandra sees, I think, a toy that belonged to Phoebe. So that was quite touching for those of you that know what happened to Phoebe. And then also we get to, we saw her again in the DLC for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But it was a nice touch, because Phoebe, it meant a lot to Cassandra. She meant a lot to Cassandra, almost like a sister or a child of her own. I know there was a DLC with something to do with the child, a different child, but I didn't go into that one. But with Phoebe being such an important person to Cassandra and what happened to her, it's good to see that being referenced somehow in Valhalla at the end of that quest line. And it's also good to see both Cassandra and Evil, like, at the bar, them enjoying themselves. I think there was a point in the game where you see a character that was in part of the quest line. I think it's possible to end up killing that person and that person not ending up in the bar as well. So there's like a little bit of a connection there. And and I failed at doing it was like it's like a flighting thing. I did think about going back and doing it again to see what would happen if I was successful. But I'm too far ahead of it. I can't go back and redo it again. I should have done it earlier on if I wanted to do that properly. So it's a bit too late. It's all right. And there's a scene where Cassandra sort of snuck out without saying much, but they both saw each other, so like gave each other a bit of a nod, and then Cassandra just disappears out, left the party, the pub, the bar, whatever it is. Yeah, that's the last time we get to see her, I think, as far as we know. We might see her again in the future in some other games, perhaps. But yeah, that was sad again to see her go. But we know that she lives on till modern times, or in that universe at least, in that game. And Evil, her time finishes up in that timeline, as far as I know. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So now I'm just playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, going through and hunting down the Order of the Ancients. I'm still doing that. I don't think there's anything else for me to do in that game. I mean, other than the mysteries and maybe getting all the treasures. I did think about, oh yeah, that's right. There's the mystical style quest line in the, not in the dream world, but the what do you call it? What do you call that place? Mystical realms. It's not mystical realm. It's like what is it called? What is it called? It's not Jotunheim. Is it Asgard? Is one of those. Yeah, I think it is Asgard. You get to you get to travel to that realm. Oh, that reminds me. I've been trying to get Excalibur, but you have to do a bunch of stuff to achieve that, as well as Thor's hammer. So I haven't got anywhere near there yet. Did I just lose the screen bit? Hopefully not. But yeah, I suppose I could do that as well once I hunt down all the Order of the Ancients, and I could do the Asgard quest line. I was tempted to do to get the new expansion. Let me just, again, apologies. My memory is just trash as well. So I'm gonna have to look it up most of the time here. I don't have the season pass or the other DLCs. It's because those ones just didn't really seem to grab my attention. All right, Dawn of Ragnarok. I did think about doing getting that one, but then I thought, because I watch a person talk about it. It seems like the character that you'll be playing as doesn't seem to be very nice. So that's kind of putting me off. Like how that character that you're inhabiting, inhabiting, I suppose, doesn't appear to be a nice person at all. But I get it because of what that character is. So, and I'm not quite sure about the gameplay either. I'm seeing a bit of it. I'm like, I'm not really sure. Storyline, again, doesn't seem to grab my attention. So I might wait for it to go on discount. So I've just left it aside and just play Valhalla as is, just the vanilla. Yeah. I guess that's pretty much it for that game. What else is there? What else have I been playing? Oh yes, that's right. God of War, the one that was recently ported over from PlayStation to PC. It was quite an experience. It wasn't too long. I think it was just about right. I think I don't know why, but at some point I did feel that the game dragged a little bit for me. But that's me because I don't know how to play it properly. There's a few puzzle bits that I really sucked at. big time, but that's on me. But overall, like in terms of the gameplay mechanics, I'm very cool. Like the animation of the axe flying back, the weapons flying back. There's that oomph to it. I do like some of the characters. I didn't quite connect with the main character though. But that's me again. I'm gonna readjust my mic there. Yeah, storyline's all right. Yeah, there's quite a few bits where it looked incredible, where the characters are fighting in the cutscenes. And then how it transitions from cutscenes to gameplay, gameplay to cutscene is pretty, like, I, I don't know if using the word seamless is the correct word, but it seems like that to me. Seamless transitions, which is also very cool. But yeah, there's a few heartbreaking moments in that game. But yeah, overall, it was all right. But yeah, I there's not much, like, it sort of leaves us in a bit of a it's not really quite a cliffhanger. It did finish off a part of the story, but there's something else that's much bigger, and I can't play the next one because I don't have a PlayStation 4 or 5. And who knows if they'll ever bring that to the PC? Maybe in another 2 years or something, 2-3 years. We'll see. Did I ever mention I finished Horizon Zero Dawn? I might have. It has been a while, so that's one that I finished. But that was, yeah, only 6 months ago. Was there something else that I finished recently? So I'm gonna just jump around. I did finish Borderlands 3's main storyline, so now I'm going through the DLCs. I'd finish the Moxxi's heist, so I'm doing the next one, which is Guns, Love, and Tentacles. I like the visuals in that. It's a nice change of pace. I don't mind it being linear. It's more tightly packed. And okay, so for Borderlands 3, there is a lot of loot, which is the main point of it. I struggle a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I struggle a lot from the beginning to midpoint, and then almost near the end. But like somewhere between 5, 7, 8 hours before the end, I picked up, a couple weapons that really helped me out a lot. I was fortunate enough to pick up a sniper rifle from the vending machine that was quite sufficient, and it carried me through for most of the game, most of the last part of the games, last 5, 6, 7 hours, and then picked up more better weapons as well. But yeah, it really picked up for me near the end. But now I've noticed that my weapons are starting to get less and less effective because I didn't go and play it at a high difficulty with the various challenges that you can tack onto it to get better loot. And that's on me. Again, that's on me. But yeah, I like what I have to do with that game is I have to go off stream, spend like an hour clearing out all my bank items and my bag items before I can go back on stream, because I really don't like spending too long on stream sorting through my bag. That's one of the issues with that game. And I'd spoken a few times about loot management. I'm terrible at loot management, but the way that Division 2 has done it is something that I really found to be helpful. So like in Division 2, you can pick up an item, but as you pick it up, you can mark it as junk. But as far as I know, I can't do that in Borderlands 3. It would be nice if you look at it, you can just press a key to mark. Maybe there is, I don't know. I should pay attention a bit more, but most of the time it's just me picking them up, quickly going in my inventory, marking them as junk, and then I can sell it off at the vending machine. And also the other thing that I feel that is a bit dated in terms of the style, and it slows down the pace for Borderlands 3 is having to go to each box, each locker, each chest to open them up to get what I need to do. I get that that's a way to control the pacing, but I end up most of the time looking down at the ground and doing that, and I for me it just breaks my pacing. I don't quite like that. Most of the time I'm fine with the enemies dropping loot and then picking them up, but having you running to the boxes to open things up, it's a bit but I guess that's just how it is. I'm using Moze, and I've been able to switch to Iron Cub, which is cool because you got your little bot running around. Oh, that reminds me, because in the second DLC, Love Guns, Love and Tentacles, you get to meet a character that I'd use in Borderlands 2, which I never finished, by the way. And it's Gage, right? And that's cool because they've got like these little interactions between the two of them because they both use robots, and it's cool that Moze like acknowledges and says things like, "Oh, something like I understand. I've got my own robot," or something along those lines. Which is I like that. I like those little touches, and I like to have robot whenever I'm playing some sort of character like that. I like to have the bot pets to help out. But that was cool. That was cool to be able to interact. Well, not you're not really but they sort of it's scripted, but they have something like that between those two characters, and it was good to see Gage again, and and her bot. But yeah, I'm starting to see that my weapons are being less effective. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Just keep playing it as is, or increase the difficulty, which I fear quite a bit. Oh yes, that's right. I finished Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6, I think they might have reached the limit of what they're able to do with that game or their engine. I'm not a programmer, just talking from my perspective, a very casual gamer's perspective, right? And I just feel that maybe they've reached some sort of limit in what they can do. Like they've got a city, but they can't really populate it with too many people. The map is much bigger than Far Cry 5. There seem to be a lot more activities. I appreciate, look, I don't really have a problem, generally speaking, with big maps in UB games. Doesn't quite bother me all that much. I am a bit of a I'm a bit of a digital virtual tourist, right? I like traveling through nice looking game worlds, right? I don't mind that. Look, even though I don't have a lot of time and I want to get through the content in a sufficient amount of time, but I don't want to compromise certain things. Like I don't want to rush through certain things, is what I'm saying, and like to appreciate what the artists have put into the world as well. And I like the map. I look, I'm not really into the tropical setting, but what it done was it was all right. It was all right. I feel though I prefer the characters that were in Far Cry 5 compared to Far Cry 6. I don't know why. Just like almost all the characters in 6 have like a big chip on the shoulder. But I get it. They're living in an oppressive regime. So, and they're like, guerrilla fighters. They're trying to fight back. And they've all had terrible things happen to them, or will happen to them. So, yeah, I get that. It kind of like, what am I trying to say here? The other thing I like is the weapons and the customization in it. And being able to, there's a lot more weapons in this one, as far as I know, than the fifth one, I think. but some of the weapons, like I'm not really a fan of. Like ultimately, I prefer the weapon in four, the weapons in four, but the weapons in four, I rarely use the other stuff. I rarely collected all the other weapons. As soon as I got the one that I wanted, the sniper rifle, I forgot what it's called, and I think it was called the Bushman AR. I was like, that's all I'm using. But that was near the end of the game as well. I think I might have even finished it. And all I did at that point was just, yeah, just doing some side stuff. I don't quite remember in Far Cry 4. Um, but I had to get that AR, I had to grind through like some sort of activity. It was like an arena, a very small arena, and I had to keep doing it for a very long time before I can unlock that weapon. I didn't really like doing that arena for such a long time. It was just maddening, just maddening. Um, but yeah, I didn't get that in Far. I didn't get the weapon. Like most of the time, I was using just a normal rifle in Far Cry 6, and that got me through a lot of the content. You know, in addition to like the submachine guns or AR that I had, but there wasn't something that I liked a lot in Far Cry 6. Far Cry 5, I liked the atmosphere and mood because I like that sort of forest hill area environment, hilly or flat areas. Um, in and even though the story wasn't all that good, but I don't know. I kind of like the story in the fifth one over the sixth one though. But yeah, like the fifth one had things that I liked because like the companions that can go with you, whereas six you had the animal companions, which I'm not really all that much of a fan of. I mean, they're funny, like the crocodile and was it Boom Boom? Was it Boomer? Boom Boom? But the fifth one also you can have pets as well and the human ones. But I feel like the NPCs in New Dawn that accompany you, the companions, I liked quite a bit. Even though that the map was in that one was quite small, the game was quite small, but that was just like a spin-off thing. I didn't mind it too much, but yeah, for me, Far Cry 5 and New Dawn had the standout companions for me, uh, and I kind of prefer the environment as well in New Dawn as well as Far Cry 5 over 6. There's not much to say. I don't know. I don't know if they've reached a limit in what they can do in Far Cry 6 in terms of the activities. I don't know if they want to go back to drawing board. It's possible that they're going to turn that into, you know, a multiplayer battle royale type thing, which is what it looks like they're doing with their other franchises like Ghost Recon. Yeah, and of course a lot of people didn't like that, understandably, because yeah, it just goes against what Ghost Recon was. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip of water. Sorry about the little banging sound in the background. But yeah, speaking of Ghost Recon, I reinstalled Breakpoint again. They reintroduced a lot of new content into it. I did start getting into it a while back when they introduced the NPC companions, your teammates, but I didn't play a lot of it. But they've introduced even more stuff into it recently, and I also heard that they've stopped supporting it, which means no more updates for that game. Did I mention I finished Watch Dogs Legion as well? Oh right, I might have. So that was another one which for me didn't really work all that well. Because of the recruitment system. I sort of get what they're trying to do. And, you know, I appreciate that they're trying to do something different, that you get to recruit different team members. But the problem is I didn't feel connected to them, to most of them. They didn't feel like characters to me. That felt more like almost like disposable assets that you can use. I did have a couple of favorites, but you know, I just couldn't form any connection. Compared to Watch Dogs 2, Marcus and his buddies, I really like Watch Dogs 2 is probably one of my favorite compared out of all of them. I really like the second one. And there's this vibe and mood in the second one that I haven't felt in any other games. You know, being able to drive around, enjoying the scenery, but being able to do the missions. And there's this sort of pixel art thing that they did, like the art style with the hacking. I don't even know how to describe it, like a overlay. It's not overlay. It's stuff that pops up whenever you complete a mission or you get followers and things like that. All that pixel glitch style. I like that. And traveling around San Francisco, that was really cool. Whereas Watch Dogs Legion, that it ended up in such a weird way as well, because you took out the main bad guy, but the problems are still lingering around. I think that's going to be a continuous problem for open world games where you finish the main quest line and then, but you still want to play the game. What do you do with that? Some games, for example, would go, all right, it's going to be sometime before the main storyline. So, for example, say you finish a game, the main storyline, and then you go back and you want to play the open world part of it and do other activities. The game would put you several days before the narrative ending, sort of like how Death Stranding has done it, as well as Horizon Zero Dawn. With Watch Dogs Legions, I don't think there was anything like that. You defeated the bad guy, but there's still like these private militaries running around. Am I mistaken, or did the game take me back in time again just to do the open world section? So yeah, it's not just that. Yeah, it's ultimately I just didn't connect with the characters. Storyline was it was all right. It was all right for what it is. Although the main antagonist revealed, it's just so weird. It's like a sudden twist. And like, why would she do that? What would they do that? I don't quite get that part again. I don't know if I'll watch it and try to get a better understanding. What did I mention Death Stranding? Oh yes, that's right. So I did replay Death Stranding in the last few hours because I didn't capture it onto my YouTube. I didn't transfer it across from the stream. This time I did because I wanted to have a end collection, right? Because I forgot to capture, so I replayed the last bit again. Recently, I bought the director's cut. So with the director's cut, it is so weird how they do the update. You have to play. You have to clear out any deliveries in the Death Stranding game, and then save it. And I think complete the game as well. No, you don't have to complete the game. You just have to finish off any deliveries, save it, quit, and then update it with the director's cut. But it's not an update. It's not an actual update. It's like a whole new game. So like the game itself is like 60 gig already. So you need another 60 gig for director's cut. And then you have to go into your cuff link at the base and then do a transfer of the save file into the director's cut and then load up the game. Is that right? No, sorry. You have to transfer it from the original. And then in the main menu of director's cut, you can then finalize the save file. I believe. And then I installed the original one. But yeah, I haven't really done anything with director's cut. That's all there is to it. I might revisit it. I've still got it on my computer at this time, but who knows? Like space is at a premium. But then again, I haven't got any big games I'm really looking forward to play. I did say that I was going to try Babylon's Fall, but now I've changed my mind. I think I might wait for that one to go on sale if I really don't have anything else to do. It looks like the type of game where I could just zone out. That's all there is to it. But then there's Godfall, which I have. I think I got that free, and I might try that out first. But again, that's like one of those, I just zone out without thinking too much. But at the same time, I have plenty of games where I could just do that. I might as well just try to finish off Borderlands 3 in the meantime, right? Sorry, I hope I'm not just like yelling into my mic. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes, or I'm too distant. What else is there? I think for the most part, that's it. Was there any other games that I played recently? Sorry about all the dead space in between. Oh, that's right. There was a game. Oh, that's right. I did try out Rainbow Six Extraction. I got really hyped up for that. Like I watched someone else play it, but when I tried to play it, as usual, totally bad, totally awful. I installed it a couple times, tried a few times. I struggle with that game. Like I'm playing it solo though. That could be the reason why I'm so bad at it. For what I'd done, I thought it was pretty neat idea, but ultimately not really my sort of thing. Oh, there was something else as well. Oh, right, that's it. Did I say that I've been playing Final Fantasy 14? So I have been playing Final Fantasy 14 online. I finished A Realm Reborn. I'm very surprised. I had played that game many years ago and then gave up. And now I played it again, and with there's some really helpful people online helped me out a bit. It was nice. It was nice to be back to it. I have to say, A Realm Reborn, the very beginning, it just dragged on for a while. Sorry, there's some noise in the background as well. Yeah, it dragged on a bit much for me. Ultimately, I did get to the end. I did the patch quest after A Realm Reborn, and the game really picked up after that. And again, spoilers for those that haven't finished Realm Reborn, and the rest of it. It was sad to see all the characters go, but then immediately, once you've done that, and like I took a little no, yes, I do have Heavensward, so I got into that almost straight away, almost I think. And then the game starts picking up so quickly. I was like, whoa. It was amazing. It was such an amazing experience. Like, Realm Reborn established a lot of stuff, but it's so good to be able to think back on, oh, if I experienced all this with all these, characters and stuff like that, and having that bond, even though some of the quests is just, I just completely forgotten about them. But yeah, lots of touching moments, sad times, and emotional moments. And like I've gone past the in Heavensward. I think I did take some time off, like just a couple of weeks, and then less than that, and I came back to it, and the story was just chugging along, and they even finished off. Well, not finished off, but at most part the Sultanas storyline. And now I'm looking for our old friends, and there's all the stuff that's happened at with what's happened with Hoshifant. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. That was so sad. I was like, whoa, this is a guy who took us in when we're at the lowest and when we lost just about everyone. Help myself, Elfino, and sorry again. I'm like totally butchering all these names. My apologies, even though I've heard them say it a few times already. Like anyway, so they've helped us out along with Tataru as well. And then to see what happened to them, I was like, whoa, that's just, yeah, it's heartbreaking. But yeah, it's an incredible journey to go through in Heavensward. Is anything else? I'd like to be able to talk about it a bit more, but there is so many things happening, so many names. I don't think I can even go through it properly. I would have to sit here and like have the names properly jotted down before I try to talk about them. Maybe even having an FAQ. I think I want to try to keep my podcast a bit light, like you know, talk a little bit of everything that I experience in games and pop culture, that sort of stuff. You know, nothing too much, too intense. What else? There were a couple games that I planned to play but decided against it, like Stranger of Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origin game. I might wait for that one as well until it's discounted. What else are there? Same with Shadow Warriors. Shadow Warrior 3. Again, I think that apparently isn't a very long game. I might wait for that one too for discount. And Ghostwire Tokyo. I did plan to play that one. It sort of reminds me, I've mentioned this before outside of this podcast in my stream, about a certain mood where you're driving late night, there's barely any cars or any other activities, and maybe there's a bit of rain, or maybe it's just wet out, this wet road, and it's just it's just stopped raining. There's that mood, and it's cold as well, and you've got the heater turned on in the car. That's the mood that I sort of get when I watch a gameplay of Ghostwire, because you don't see anyone else in that game, right? If you know what I mean, like from watching the trailer. So people have just disappeared, and there's this ghost and things like that that's just around, and you have to get rid of the ghost or send them elsewhere. That's my general idea of what it is. So there's that sort of mood about Ghostwire when I watch the gameplay. There's rain, there's hardly anyone around, and you're just traveling around this city. It's that same feeling. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar to when I'm driving around late at night. It's not moody, but it's a strange, I suppose, moody, comforting feeling to it. But yeah, that's all I can say. And I do want to get into that, but apparently, it is quite a repetitive game. So again, it's probably going to be wait till discount. I don't mind. I'll wait. There's a few things keeping me busy for a while. I can't think of anything else. I was Suicide Squad. So that got moved to next year. That's understandable. But there's Gotham Knights still. We'll have to wait for that one. I don't know what's going to happen to that. What else is there? Oh yeah, there's Starfield. I don't know what that's going to be like because we haven't seen any gameplay yet. So 11th of November 2022. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what's going to happen to that one. Could be a while. I mean, it could be not a while. It could be delay. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a massive game. Who knows how the engine's going to hold for that game. Right? Yeah, too early to tell. Forspoken, I like what I've seen, being able to sort of jump, fly around using magic skills. The character seems I kind of like the character. I like the character from what I've seen so far. Not kinda, I like the character from what I've seen. What I'm worried about with that game is, I think a lot of people might say the same thing, is what activities are there beside a big open world with just, desert and nothing else in it. Like, I worry that it might be just your character flying around in... I did say, okay, I want to clarify, I do appreciate nice looking environment, right? And I still like that. I still like that sort of thing. But at the same time, for something like Forspoken, is it going to be, what can I compare it with? Like Rage 2, right? It's an open world game, but there's some activities, but it's Rage 2 visually look pretty cool. Gameplay, mechanics, really nice. I liked it. But I feel that it's missing something in its open world component. Especially like Rage 2, because it is a post-apocalyptic environment. There is something about it, and I think the way that they've created the environment, it just feels like it's just there to fill a space, if that makes sense. Like the plants and grass and things like that, I think they are not exactly interactive. You just sort of go through them. I don't mean they need to be moving about if you touch them, but it just, it just doesn't feel like you're part of the world. Again, I always go back to how Ubi has done it. Let's say like in Division 2, right? You've got a city, a part of it anyway. But sometimes you see animals running around. You see other characters walking back and forth like they're moving items, and you can protect them. Or there's enemies, little things like that. It's not it's not really a world shaking. Is that the right phrase? It's not revolutionary, right? But it makes the world feels like it's a living world. And something like Rage 2 didn't really have that. Didn't have that feeling. You got your towns and stuff like that. You got your enemies, and sometimes you see vehicles that you can buy things from, and that's pretty much it. So my fear is there's this not necessarily needing to have activities in the game world, but having that sort of, oh, looks like the timer's up. We can set it for another. I might finish in about 15 maybe or less. I don't mean having activities to do, right? I mean, that would be cool, having stuff to do. But at the same time, not feeling like it's a big grind. It's hard. It's hard for games for especially open world games, which I like to talk. There's like a few more things I like to talk about it, but we're heading towards the end of this very casual podcast, messy stream podcast thingy. But yeah, that's my worry for Spoken. Like, it's just a big world. What can I compare? What's another thing I can compare with? Probably Final Fantasy 15, right? But with Final Fantasy 15, it's just, yeah, you go, you do fishing or you fight enemies. I want to be able to do a little bit more than that. But not necessarily, as I say, not necessarily having a lot of activities, right? Or events, but being able to see the world, and as if it's a living world. You see other characters walking around. They have other things to do. It's not just you, um, just tearing up the place, right? And it's hard for something like a fantastical world like that. Might be a little bit easier with something like Watch Dogs, because you're in a living city. People have got their lives. They're walking around doing their thing, talking on phones, maybe picking a fight with other people, or just talking to each other. I know a lot of that stuff is scripted. It's very simplistic, which is fine, but it gives that illusion of a living world. And I worry that Forspoken might not have something like that. It's too early to tell right now. But I just hope that it's not just a empty world filled with enemies that you just have to take down all the time. And I don't know. I think like with Valhalla, it has a similar issue as well. You do see guards like soldiers walking around. Sometimes you see friendly soldiers. Sometimes you see like I think neutral ones. If you attack them, they'll attack you back. You see the other people. But I think maybe Odyssey did it a little bit better with other characters walking around. They are not necessarily soldiers and things like that. I could be wrong. I could be remembering in a nostalgia, rose-tinted glasses sort of way. But yeah, like they're gonna have to figure out how to make the world look like it's, you know, a living world, other than having animals as well. But yeah, having people walking around, going from one place to another, having them talk to each other, even though it's a scripted sort of thing, does help with immersion into the game, I feel. I can't think of anything else. I mean, if I can, I'll have to figure out to talk about it next time. How long have I been on? 1 hour 15. Not bad. Just me waffling away, being repetitive. Um, I mean, yeah, as I say, like I have some of my ideas in terms of the discussion around open world games, but nothing, you know, immensely in depth. I might try to do that next time. I say this all the time. I don't know when my next discussion or podcast will be, but I think we'll leave it there for now. I really appreciate you guys hanging out, um, listening. Try to maybe, I don't know. I'll get in trouble for this one. Yeah. Thank you, anyone that's lurking or watching this in archives. I hope you all have a good day or night. Take care. Stay safe. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.